I have been wondering, why are celebrity interviews such garbage these days? And you might answer, well, it's because the celebrities are garbage people. It's because celebrities suck. But I really don't even want to put the onus on just the celebrities who are getting interviewed. I think that this is a change that has taken place in the media landscape overall in recent years. So to show a couple of examples, I say Alex Cooper is one of the worst offenders when it comes to celebrity interviews. Being, instead of interviews, just glazing sessions. She will just react in absolute awe and hilarity no matter what a celebrity says. Okay, because that's the role of the interviewer now, is you just affirm, affirm, affirm.
What's a kink or fantasy you've never admitted publicly?
This is Cardi B.
I've done them all. I would like, in a threesome, to have a really pretty faced girl that I really like, and we both sucking dick together, but like not just like my turn.
Who watches this shit?
Women.
Your turn, my turn, your turn, like making out, clashing on it.
And I love that you specified like really pretty face. What, because you're gonna have to look at her? Are you keeping your eyes open or closed?
If I like her a lot. I mean, you know, it's really passionate when you make out with girls. Or not when you make out, period. I'm very passionate. Like, I like to make love. So I'm just not like, it's like, oh, you jerking and sucking, not jerking and sucking.
Women are cooked, dude. Women are cooked.
I mean, I would also say, like, the media is cooked, because this is what the average celebrity interview sounds like now. And on the other hand, you have this example of Liam Neeson. He's probably on the press run for The Naked Gun 2.
Oh, I remember this one, yeah.
And they're showing him a labubu for the first time.
This is...
I have no clue. No. Seriously, I don't know.
That is a labubu.
Okay. It's a fluffy doll. Can you eat it?
The owner of the labubu is now a billionaire because
I always forget that he has an accent.
people around the world are hoarding these.
Really?
And they almost got banned in the UK because people were fighting each other on the streets for them. I have a pink one.
It doesn't surprise me. I've never heard of them. No.
What about this?
Do you know what this is?
Like, this is the
Are they
interview
drawing
with
for
Liam Neeson.
ET?
You're just showing him pictures of
That
dolls.
is a lafufu. It's a labubu without the hair.
And without the genitals.
Okay. You know, it's partially responsible, is like, for a long time, you know the interviews they do where it's like they interview a celebrity but there's just dogs there. That content was
I remember that.
Like that
BuzzFeed
content.
did that,
Yes, BuzzFeed interviews were the blueprint because it removed you from the serious setup that normally existed within the interview structure, which was just two people standing sitting across from each other while a person asks questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when they do the things where they're like, we're going to ask the top 20 most popular questions to this celebrity.
Right. That's more accessible than showing Liam Neeson pictures of labubu.
I'm just showing you how we've gotten
It's been
here.
a slow trickle.
It's been a slow trickle of
this
demoralization.
Substack writer Tobias Hess on his Substack Gen Zero wrote, "Why are all pop star interviews like that?" and answered it in a way I think is quite eloquent. He thinks that he can diagnose this subgenre of celebrity entertainment interviews as the girls and gays pop star sit down. And of this category, there are a few prime purveyors. First of all, Therapus with Jake Shane. Given its name, the interviewer basically plays therapist. And Las Culturistas with Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang. Call Her Daddy with Alex Cooper, and honorary mention Zane Lowe on Apple Music. Straight man, but the affect is still the same. What unites these pieces of media is a giddy sensibility where the host has the affect and enthusiasm of a superfan. The pop star, in turn, acts bashful and pleased, and at least appears to model a sense of safety and comfort, which in turn makes the viewer feel as if they're part of this intimate gabfest with their fave. These types of interviews now central to the pop ecosystem, essentially codify stan culture's uber emotional tone, making them weepy sentimentality of superfan discourse, the official company line. The normalization of this screaming, crying affect makes it harder for all of us to discuss art. It implies that if you're not weeping, you're soulless. This shift toward stan sentimentality in pop interviews is most embodied by Jake Shane on Therapus. So he started out as a skit TikToker, and eventually he starts a podcast because you can never just be one thing. Mm-hmm. All of the interviewers have their own ulterior motives for being podcasters. Mm-hmm. They were probably presented with the idea of starting a podcast by a management team, and they want to leverage the TikTok stardom into a podcast and then leverage the podcast into getting cast in real movies and TV shows and getting opportunities to interview on red carpets and become part of the mainstream media ecosystem instead of just a social media influencer. So it's sort of like done a horseshoe back to where we were at in old Hollywood. Because at the beginning of Hollywood, stars being operating under the studio system, these celebrities were under strict control of the studios, and the studios had complete control over the press, because if the press challenges or criticizes the actor or actress in any way in an interview, what the studio will do, or did at the time rather, is they would just blacklist the whatever outlet it is, whatever journalist
that still
it is.
happens.
I don't think it's as common now.
Not as common, but it still
I don't
happens.
think you need to blacklist anyone now, because the default now is that the entire interview is glazing.
Well, that
but at the time it was much more
explicit.
Matters. At the time it was much more explicit that the interviewer was strictly prohibited from criticizing the celebrity or making them look bad, or else the studio would just kill their ability to talk to any other actors in the future. And then once the studio system was a thing of the past, these actors and actresses were kind of left to fend for themselves. So what they ended up doing is hiring publicists. And their publicists or PR agencies had control over the interviews they did. And then we're veering into the tabloid culture of the late 20th century and then the early 2000s, where we have interviewers like Barbara Walters or Diane Sawyer or Oprah or even Ellen, who took a more like comedic affect to it, but still they were basically overtly attacking the people they interviewed. Like, watch any Barbara Walters interview where she's just like, watch Diane Sawyer's interview with Britney Spears back in the day.
Yeah.
They just attacked them at the very essence of who they were, and dug into their personal lives, had no concept of boundaries in the interviews that they did. And yeah, it made for really entertaining content, because that is the type of thing that people wanted to know about. But it was seen eventually as cruel and insensitive.
Well, yeah, the name of the game, for especially with the pop music celebrities and stan culture, is like, there's a reason why they all have their pet causes. There's a reason they always talk about therapy. There's a reason they always talk about mental health. Is they're already overly emotional people who have found overly emotional people as their target demo for consumption, whereas pop music in general in the past had a wider range of people. Music has become so decentralized that you can find a band or a new type of music all the time. It's just you have to go looking for it. But it's become even more homogenous at the top of the charts, because all of them cater to the exact same audiences.
But this goes far beyond musicians. This
Yes.
is all celebrities that are getting interviewed now. It's the same thing every time. They're not getting asked about their personal lives, which is salacious but still interesting. They're not getting asked about their art, because no one cares about the art. And then what we're left to watch is them, doing smash or pass and TikTok challenges, TikTok dances, and like eating fried chicken.
I think there might have even been at a time there was a level of prestige that came from being on one of these major networks that made it more likely for you to do some type of investigative piece. Whereas now they're like, I'm a YouTuber. Am I really supposed to ask this person all these hard-hitting questions? And nobody wants to watch that stuff these days. Like they don't have an interest. Plus, a lot of them are younger. I don't know how old Barbara Walters was when she was doing those interviews, but even looking older gives you an air of authority. Whereas now, if you take if Amelia de Moldenberg starts asking you like, so what were you doing at this time, and starts asking you like hard-hitting questions.
Did you ever do drugs in front of your kids?
Nobody wants to watch it, and people aren't looking for hard-hitting content on those types of channels. The people who are watching those interviews aren't looking for that type. Now, there's people that make documentaries about these people down the line later that will make documentaries about celebrities that might be less than shining a positive light on them, but that's a whole nother market, and it doesn't require access to the celebrity, only access to a whole bunch of information and the willingness to kind of parse through it all to create the story that you want to tell. They're not the same thing.
They say the moments from the show that get the most traction on social media are when the host emotionally spazzes out about his interviewee's discretion or art, serving as the stand-in for the audience member, who presumably would also be moved to tears by the idea of getting early access to Lord's new album. They're not so much interviews, they are love fests, and in their more therapeutic moments, cross-confessionals, where the host opens up about his own problems, creating room for the celebrity to, quote-unquote, get real, too.
Yeah.
So there is the parasocial aspect. All of these interviews are catered for the stan audience, and it's giving you the feeling that you're involved in the conversation as well. You have this intimacy with the person.
It mirrors the parasocial relationships that have become unbelievably important to marketing these types of artists.
And that also gives the artists, who by and large are narcissistic people, an opportunity to just talk about themselves and then hear someone affirm everything that they say.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it goes without saying that that's something that would appeal to them, and they're not going to take any interviews that veer off from that formula. And I think the third thing that explains this phenomenon is really just the fact that people aren't that literate now. Like, genuinely, rates of literacy are plummeting.
That's me.
And if someone has a long form written interview in a magazine, nobody's going to read it. They might see snippets of it here and there that are cherry picked and taken out of context for, just headline value.
Yeah.
But they're not going to read the whole thing. So you need to make short, pithy, social media friendly, like For You page, algorithmic friendly content. And that leaves you with the most anti-intellectual, surface level, Labubu Dubai chocolate matcha content imaginable.
Yes.
And, I don't think... The thing is, some people feel bad for the celebrities. I think they like this stuff.
Oh, they love this stuff.
Here's a piece from Jamie Marshall in EV Magazine back in August. Why is Brad Pitt talking about his divorce, alcoholism, and regret about missing out on having a gay experience on Dax Shepard's podcast? Why are film auteurs like Paul Thomas Anderson collaborating with Fortnite on a Leonardo DiCaprio film? Why are interviewers asking Pedro Pascal about characters in the MCU who are capital D daddies? And why does it feel like every legendary actor is being dragged into the meme economy against their will? The one part of that I disagree with is that it's against their will. They benefit from this, and they for the most part, unless they're, up in age like Liam Neeson or maybe Jamie Lee Curtis, they like this stuff. They like to not be challenged. Yeah. They like to not have to explain their artistic decisions or take accountability for public mistakes that they have made. Yeah. And they quite enjoy, because they are narcissists, being affirmed by the person across from them. And the interviewers have zero incentive to veer off of that formula because they're using the podcast itself as their stepping stone into Hollywood.
I don't even think it necessarily has to be that nefarious. It's like, look, most of the content created these days it's not designed to be confrontational. When a podcast gets on like there are all sorts of podcasts that are based just on like rewatches of TV shows, and they'll get like one of the actors on, right? It's not none of the people that
Well,
are
sure, but
watching
it's to talk about the TV show, right?
Yeah, but there could still be questions to them about like, nobody liked this season. Like even that stuff's rare to come up in those things because people who want to sit down and listen to people like rewatch something that's a comfort show for them aren't there for hard-hitting journalism. They're there for something that's comforting to watch.
Okay, I'm not asking Alex Cooper to become Barbara Walters overnight.
I am.
That's not what I'm asking for, although that would be interesting. You don't have to be aggressive and invade people's personal privacy and spread rumors and attack them on a character level to ask interesting questions. And what Alex Cooper is doing is like, so like, what's your ultimate like kink sexual fantasy? And then listening to Cardi B's obscene ramblings and going like, okay, go off, girl. Like I'm saying that there is a happy medium. You don't need to be aggressive to the people that you're interviewing, but you also don't need to glaze them endlessly no matter what they say.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a fair assessment, no?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they have
Like,
an
it could
end
be
goal.
slightly more serious. You could take yourself a little more seriously.
Yeah, but these things are algorithmically programmed. They've got their formula that works. The views reinforce that. The money that comes from those views reinforce that. There's no incentive for them to change that formula. The only way to change that formula would be for somebody to specifically go and do it themselves. If you want to watch confrontational media, go do what my wife does and watch. What's the dude who does Financial Audit, where he just dunks on stupid people?
Again, I'm not saying it needs to be confrontational though.
I know.
Like it should just be not brain rot. Like it can be neither of those things.
Even then, most of the stuff that was made to consume back then was made to be consumed when you had to like sit down and consume it. So a Barbara Walters interview with Britney Spears, that was who interviewed her. I already forgot. That was like, what, 2007?
It was Diane Sawyer with Britney Spears.
Diane Sawyer with Britney Spears. You had to go home and sit down in front of a television to go do that, or at least sit down in front of a computer to watch it, right? If you're watching snippets of it. Now, it's designed to be consumed on your phone. It's designed to be consumed with your lock screen closed so that you can listen to it while you're driving around. It's not even designed to be consumed with both ears paying attention. It's designed to be consumed while you're doing your dishes, while you're cleaning your house. Like nothing, very little of what's made today is designed to be consumed with 100% of your attention span. Even this podcast, after a fashion, is not really. I make the joke all the time. I said, look, hey, it's like, I'm happy to be your favorite background noise, but we're not interviewing big name celebrities.
Another reason that this is happening is like the general public doesn't view celebrities with any sort of scrutiny anymore.
Yeah.
These days I see like compilations of like all of the moments when Taylor Swift was bullied by interviewers. OMG, this is so sad. And it's like, she's a grown adult woman.
Yep.
And she's getting interviewed by another grown adult woman and asked a question about her personal life. If she wants to answer it, she doesn't have to, or if she doesn't want to answer it, she doesn't have to.
Yep.
Like, why do we see celebrities now as these like uwu small beans who are at the mercy of the media? Like, that's not how it works anymore. They have all the power.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.